Movie stunts. They thrill us with the prospect of danger and grievous bodily harm. But a lot of them we know in our heart of hearts are done in front of a green screen or rear screen projector or just totally CGI. The stunts on today's list, however, were done for real by stuntmen who are insanely brave, or maybe just insane. So this is 10 insane stunts from movie history. Number 10. Man with the Golden Gun Corkscrew Jump, 1979. This scene was filmed in Thailand and involves an AMC Hornet ramping up a broken bridge, doing a 270-degree twist over a small river and landing back on all four wheels. This stunt is unique in that it was the first one ever modeled on a computer beforehand. They did this so that they wouldn't have to test and destroy dozens of real cars and put drivers in danger. Stuntman Lauren Willard performed the jump and nailed it first time. Strangely though, somebody decided during the editing to insert a goofy slide whistle sound, which makes the stunt seem lamer than it is. Here is the same stunt with different audio, which is perhaps more how it should have been presented originally.
Sorry.
Number 9. Raiders of the Lost Ark Truck Chase, 1981. This stunt was performed by Terry Leonard, who agreed to perform it only if his friend and colleague Glenn Randall Jr. was driving. The truck was specially built to be farther off the ground, and the center of the road was also dug out to allow clearance for Indiana to pass underneath safely. This sequence took 5 weeks to film, for just 6 minutes of screen time. The lead actor Harrison Ford was actually dragged behind the truck for some of the shots, badly bruising his ribs. When asked if he was worried, Ford replied, "No, if it was really dangerous, they would have filmed more of the movie first." Number 8. True Lies Helicopter Rescue, 1994. In this scene, Arnold Schwarzenegger's character hangs from the landing skids of a helicopter to rescue Jamie Lee Curtis from a moving limousine, grabbing her before it reaches a broken section of bridge and plunging to her doom. Jamie Lee Curtis performed the helicopter rescue scene herself, with director James Cameron hanging out the helicopter door with a handheld camera. To pull this stunt off, Cameron used a limousine operated by remote control from a camera car which was moving behind. The remote vehicle, the camera car, and the helicopter accelerated together along the bridge until they reached a speed of 112 kilometers per hour, after which the limo went crashing into the sea below. Number 7. Ben-Hur Chariot Scene, 1959. This whole sequence is pretty crazy, even today, and it wowed audiences at the time. Shot over a period of 9 months, the outdoor set of the chariot race was the largest and most expensive ever constructed for a film at the time. It required 15,000 extras on a set constructed on 18 acres of backlot at Cinecittà Studios outside Rome. For most of this sequence, Charlton Heston and the other actors were actually driving the chariots themselves. Legendary stuntman Yakima Canutt arranged and directed a lot of the shots in this sequence, and his son Joe Canutt was the stunt double for Charlton Heston. During one of the crashes, Joe was thrown from his chariot onto its tongue because he failed to follow his father's instructions as to how to position himself in the chariot as it hit the top of the hidden ramp leading up to the debris. He managed to climb back into his chariot and bring it under control, and the sequence looked so good that it was included in the film with a close-up shot of Heston climbing back into the chariot. Luckily, Joe Canutt survived, with only a cut on his chin to show for his mistake. Number 6. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation Breath Hold, 2015. Tom Cruise famously loves to do his own stunts, and there are several crazy ones in this movie alone, but even he admitted that his team were worried he wouldn't be able to pull this one off. In the movie, Ethan Hunt, played by Cruise, has to swim underwater to retrieve a computer chip, while avoiding a rotating metal arm. In order to pull off this sequence, crews trained to hold his breath for up to 6 minutes at a time. The sequence was filmed in a single long take, which for me begs the question, why did they cut it up in editing? What was the point in actually holding his breath for 6 minutes if they weren't going to have it be one single shot? In my opinion, it's because it's Tom Cruise. And well, he's a little crazy. Number 5. District B13 Rope Jump, 2004. The French movie District B13 depicts a ghetto in France which was closed off by the authorities due to its extreme gang violence, leaving the drug dealers and gangs with no way to get around except for doing some extreme parkour across roofs and out windows. It's the logical choice, really. The movie stars David Bell, who popularized parkour in the early 2000s. Some of the stunts are pretty damned impressive, and there were no special effects and very limited safety equipment used. One of the most daring moments is when Bell jumps out a window, grabbing a very conveniently placed rope and swinging out, which leads to one of his chasers falling to his death in a rather hilarious way. He then wall runs along the outside of the building, around the corner onto a balcony, and continues running. Yeah, I agree, bro. Number 4. The Dark Knight Rises Plane Hijacking, 2012. We all know director Christopher Nolan doesn't mess around, and true to form, most of this sequence was done for real. It was filmed over the Cairngorm Mountains of the Scottish Highlands in July of 2011. The plane they used is a Lockheed C-130 Hercules. Because of its low stall speed of 179 km per hour, a camera crew in a helicopter was easily able to match the speeds of the planes and record the exterior action. When the C-130 is above the CIA aircraft, its rear cargo ramp is lowered, and 4 stuntmen drop down from it tethered to cables. They then swapped out the real plane for a glider mock-up, which had been towed into position for the rest of the sequence. The stuntmen land on the glider and attach cables to the fuselage, after which the wings rip off and the tail is severed with explosives. Bain then attaches himself and his hostage to another cable and lets the plane fall out from below them to smash onto the Scottish Highlands. Aye. Number 3. Stagecoach Coach Stunt 1939. Here's that name Yakima Canut again. Well, I did mention that he's legendary amongst stuntmen, and seeing the stunt he performed in this John Wayne classic, I can see why. Portraying an attacking Indian, Canut leaps at full gallop from his own horse to the 6-horse team pulling the coach. He then drops between the horses and gets dragged along, before letting go and lying motionless on the ground as the horses and coach sped over him, with the 4 wheels passing either side. There are no editing tricks or dummies used here. Canut actually did it all. This stunt was honored in the previously mentioned Raiders of the Lost Ark truck scene. Number 2. Police Story Pole Slide, 1985. Jackie Chan has been putting his body through hell for decades for our entertainment. He has stated in interviews that there probably isn't an inch of his body that hasn't been cut, burned, or bruised. The stunt we look at today is from Police Story, where Chan jumps from the railing in a shopping mall and grabs a pole, sliding down like a fireman in a rain of glass and sparks before crashing through a glass pane and onto a food truck below. What we see in the final cut was the first and only attempt at the stunt. The light bulbs attached to the pole are real, and Chan received numerous cuts from broken glass and electric shocks while sliding down, and the fall onto the truck broke 2 of his vertebrae and dislocated his pelvis. The most impressive thing is that he's able to get up and continue the scene. He's one tough son of a bitch, and nobody can deny that. Number 1 on today's list is Steamboat Bill Jr., Housefall, 1926. Buster Keaton is a true legend of the silent film era, performing death-defying stunts while sporting a humorously bored expression which belied the real danger he was in. As Roger Ebert once wrote, "No silent star did more dangerous stunts than Buster Keaton," and the stunt he performed in this movie proves that. The scene where the wall falls around Keaton was performed with an actual full-weight wall. The wall falls forward, and for a split second it seems Keaton is sure to be crushed, but the window falls around him with scant clearance on either side. Half the crew had walked off the set rather than participate in a stunt that would have killed Keaton if he had been even slightly off position. So, there we have it, folks. 10 insane stunts from movie history. Bear in mind, this isn't really a top 10 video, but just 10 stunts I thought were worth talking about. So let me know what your personal favorites are in the comments section, and maybe I'll make a follow-up video in the future. If you enjoyed this video, give a like,